Hi, this is Kim and welcome to my channel for everything lifestyle, life advice, and health and wellness. If you haven't already, please make sure you like and share the video and subscribe to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a healthy lifestyle change that I've implemented in my life that has helped me on my health and weight loss journey. And over time, I'll do some other videos with some other lifestyle changes that I've made as well. So today's tip is try to avoid added sugar in your diet. And when I'm talking about sugar, I'm not just talking about cakes, pies, and all the other sweets that people tend to eat, but I'm also talking about the sugar that's in savory food as well. And a few of the reasons why we want to avoid sugar in our diet is because sugar can cause inflammation, which can affect your joints. Sugar can lead to fatty liver, weight gain, diabetes, acne, heart disease, and a host of other issues. And the kind of sugar that I'm talking about is the processed added sugar, not the sugar that comes from fruit, which is natural. The sugars in fruit are processed a little bit different in the body, and they contain fiber and other health benefits, so they're a way better option than processed sugar. So I started to pay more attention to added sugar a few years ago when a few people from my job decided that they wanted to do the Whole30 diet. And essentially that is a diet where you don't eat sugar, dairy, or gluten. And there's a few other things associated with it, but I don't remember all the rules. But I decided to join them on that diet. So for a whole month, I didn't eat sugar, dairy, or gluten. And I realized how difficult it was to find foods that didn't contain added sugar. And of course, if you shop in the produce section, all fruits and vegetables don't have added sugar. So that's a better option. But when you shop for food that's in the grocery aisles, a lot of those foods have added sugar. So you have to be very careful when trying to avoid sugar. So when preparing to start this diet, I had to do a lot of research on what I could eat that didn't have sugar in it. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of savory foods have added sugar. For example, pasta sauce, bacon, sausage, a lot of foods in the frozen aisle, canned goods, and salad dressing. So by doing that diet, that really taught me how to seek out foods that didn't contain added sugar. So here are some ways to start reducing sugar in your diet. One thing I stopped doing a few years ago is I stopped consuming soda. And I also cut back on juices that are not 100% real juice. As most people already know, soda can contain anywhere from 30 to 60 grams of sugar. But a lot of people don't realize that other drinks like juices, energy drinks, sugary coffee drinks, and flavored water can all have the same amount of sugar. And a lot of the food that we're already eating contains a lot of sugar. So when we couple that with soda or juices, that's only doubling the amount of sugar that we're taking in. And this can be very stressful on your organs and over time can lead to a lot of health issues. So instead of drinking sugary drinks, try to consume more natural drinks like water, tea, and black coffee. And if you have to have juice, opt for something a little healthier like a green juice or a fruit juice that is 100% all fruit and no added sugar. I wrote a blog post about green juices and how to make your own green juice, and I'll put a link to that in the description. My second tip is to avoid artificial sweeteners. A lot of people try to avoid consuming sugar by replacing it with artificial sweeteners. But what a lot of people don't know is that artificial sweeteners aren't any better than regular sugar. I've read that artificial sweeteners can increase appetite because it throws off our body's natural way of processing sugar, and in turn this can cause weight gain. Also, artificial sweeteners are a lot sweeter than regular sugar, which alters our taste buds to want a stronger sweet taste, which will make you want to eat more to satisfy your craving. So I would suggest just try to avoid any artificial sweeteners. And if a product says 0 sugar, that probably means they added artificial sweeteners, so I would avoid that as well. My third tip is to substitute fruit for sweets. When I have a sweet craving, I try to satisfy that craving with the natural sugars in fruit. My go-to tends to be berries or an apple. When you first start doing this, fruit will not be as satisfying as sweets would be, but over time you'll start to crave fruit more often. Another tip would be to limit the amount of days that you consume sugar. One thing I started doing was not consuming added sugar Monday through Friday. Never consuming sugar is not something that is realistic or sustainable for me, so I limit my consumption to only the weekends. So if you are the type of person that eats sugary foods or sweets every day, then I would suggest try to start eating those only every other day. And keep reducing the days little by little until you get to the point where you're only consuming sugar a few days a week. Another tip would be to limit the amount of added sugar you have on the days that you choose to have sugar. So for example, if you decide to consume sugar only on the weekends, or if you decide to do every other day, instead of having sugar the whole day, you want to limit the amount that you have for each of those days. For example, if you decide to have a candy bar one day, let that be the only sugar that you eat that day, instead of having a candy bar, some soda, and then having ice cream later, all on the same day. This will prevent you from overdoing it, and then gradually you'll need less and less sugar on the days that you do eat sugar. And the last thing that has helped me a lot recently with my sugar cravings has been a supplement called CraveArrest. I mentioned this in a previous video, and I think I'm going to do a review video about this supplement because it's been a game changer for me when it comes to cravings. If you didn't see the last video, this is what the supplement looks like. And I'll put a link to this in the description if you want to check it out. And as always, make sure you consult with a doctor before taking anything new. Just a side note, when it comes to trying to find what has sugar in it, I don't necessarily look at the label and the sugar grams. I look at the ingredients to see if there's sugar in the ingredients. For example, I look for anything that says sugar, but there's also words like dextrose, fructose, brown rice syrup, high fructose corn syrup, honey, maple syrup, and all those different types of sugars. I'll try to put a list in the description to see, so you know exactly what to look out for. Also, from time to time on the weekends, I'll eat bacon. And as I mentioned previously, that most bacon brands contain sugar, but there is a brand that I found that does not contain sugar, and this is the one that I eat, and it's called Applegate. And this bacon is really good, and I don't have to worry about adding sugar to my diet when I eat it. Even though bacon is not something that you should eat all the time, but when I do eat it, I don't have to worry about sugar. I'll put a link to that bacon if you want to check that out. So I would suggest you try some of these tips and see what works for you. Reducing sugar intake is not something that happens overnight, but gradual changes over time will make a big difference, and your body will thank you for it. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day.